Hi there. It's March 28th. We continue our journey through the Gospel of Luke. We're in chapter 8 and we're reading from verses 4 through to verse 21. The reading starts with the really well-known parable of the sower. The word parabole in Greek is equivalent to the word mashal in Hebrew, as we've already seen. It means a story, but more than a story, it's a life saying. It's something that's a guideline for life. And Jesus gives this one very succinctly. It's a very short parable. It basically is saying there's the sower who goes for sowing, and he has four types of ground. There's the pathway, there's the rock, there's the weeds, and there's the good ground. And then he says, and the different seeds produce different results. And then he kind of leaves it there and he says, whoever has ears, let them hear. And he leaves it for his hearers to interpret what's going on. But his disciples are not happy with that. They want to understand. They want to know, Jesus, what is it you're actually saying with this parable? And so Jesus explains it to them as the mystery, the hidden things, the things that are need to be explained to be known. And so he says, of course, that the seed falling on the pathway, that the birds take away, those who hear the word, but quickly it just gets taken. The seed falling on the rock, it doesn't have depth and therefore it doesn't get root. Then there's the seed falling among the thorns or the weeds, and the root comes up, but the weeds choke it, the cares of the world come in, and then you've got the fourth type of ground, which is where the seed flourishes and it grows up and it produces a good fruit. And this is what what Jesus is aiming for. It's interesting that he says it produces good fruit in patience, with patience. It takes patience to see fruit come up. Fruit is not something that just suddenly appears. Jesus talks about an hypomone in Greek, meaning in patience, in staying the course. And so we need to remember that when we're looking at this parable, that fruitfulness is something that takes persistence and patience. And then Jesus says, we need to be shining. We need to have our lamps put on a lampstand and not hidden away. And actually, we're needing to see fruit that comes out of faithfulness to Him, because there's going to be a reckoning. And what we've done with what we have is very important, because God is looking for a return on the seed, just as the seed sower is looking for return. So God is looking for return on His seed. Right at the end of this reading, Jesus' mother and brothers appear at the house where he's speaking, and they want to have access to him. They want to see him. They want a quick queue jumping, in a sense. They want favor. But Jesus makes it clear that that's not how he accesses. He doesn't show favoritism to people because of their relationship to him. He has compassion and a heart for everybody, and he basically says, you're going to have to wait your turn. Everyone has the same value in my eyes. Everyone has the same worth. You can't queue jump just because you say you have a special link and relationship with Jesus. As we look at this story today, this is such a familiar story, we want to be those who are constantly scattering seed. The kind of seed that is talked about here is a seed that isn't planted individually one by one in little pots, but it's a seed that's broadcast. It's a seed that goes everywhere, and then the seed finds its ground, and the ground bears it. So let's not be slow in going out and just scattering seed, the seed of good news in our lives, wherever we go today. Have a very good March the 28th.